audiences, and I'm Huilin Ong from UniMAP, so I will be the moderator for today's event. Yang berbahagia Professor Insinyur Teknologis Dr. Muhammad Rizal Arshad, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International University Malaysia Police. Yang berusaha Dr. Engineer Insinyur Ahmad Rusdiansyah, Vice Rector 3 for Human Resources Organisation and Information System Technology, Institut Teknologi 10 November, Surabaya, Indonesia. Yang berusaha Miss Octaviyanti Dwi Wahyurini, Senior Manager on Promotion and Mobility, ITS Global Engagement, ITS Surabaya, Indonesia. Yang berusaha Associate Professor Dr. Tunku Sahal Tunku Ahmad, Director, Center for International Engagement, UniMAP Malaysia. Senior Officers of ITS and UniMAP, members of the committee for today's meeting, lecturers and students from the ITS and UniMAP. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you all to the fourth meeting of Teen Ideas Future Mobility Program, welcoming new normal, educating and preparing university stakeholders, which jointly organized by the Global Engagement Institute Technology Surabaya and the Center for International Engagement University Malaysia Police. For your information, 2 online lectures will be given by the experts in the field of the meeting team from University Malaysia Police and ITS Indonesia in this meeting. This content of the lectures will be focusing on the topics that will be the main focus of the student presentations in the meetings 5 and 6 later. So, ladies and gentlemen, to kick off this meeting event, we are pleased to have Yang Berusaha Dr. Insinyur Teknologis Ahmad Rusdiansyah, the Vice Rector 3 for Human Resource Organisation and Information System Technology, ITS, to deliver the welcome remark. So, please welcome Vice Rector 3.
Yeah. Thank you very much, moderator. The Honorable Deputy Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Perlis, UniMAP, Professor Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Rizal Arshad, Director of Center of International Engagement of UniMAP, Professor Tunku Saha Tunku Ahmad, all faculty staff and management of UniMAP, ITS, and all students of our universities. Selamat pagi to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is a great honor for me to welcome all participants in the second round of Teen Ideas 2020. I hope everyone are in a good and healthy condition amidst this pandemic situation. The current COVID-19 pandemic has been with us for many months, and it is becoming clear that this pandemic will likely stay for a while, at least until an effective vaccine can be delivered. Physical distancing has been proven to be effective in containing the spread of the virus. Now we have a better understanding of the virus, and the so-called new normal strategy is needed for us to keep everything going, including education through this pandemic. On the other hand, we understand the importance of our human resources, our staff, students, and lecturers, all of which are invaluable assets that we need to protect during the new normal. I hope that this second round of Teen Ideas can bring up fresh ideas and discussion on these important topics. Our university, known as ITS Surabaya, is one of Indonesia's leading institute of technology. We are located in Sukolila, Surabaya, and ITS has 7 faculties and 38 departments with more than 20,000 actively enrolled students. ITS currently is aiming to support the digital ecosystem for Industrial Revolution 4.0, with emphasis in digital economy, intelligent automation, and smart life. ITS Surabaya currently has 10 research centers in various research areas, including manufacturing, transportation and logistics, sustainable energy, artificial intelligence and biomedical technology, advanced materials and nanotechnology, Internet of Things and defense technology, agri-food and biotechnology, climate change and disaster, maritime science and technology, fundamental sciences and infrastructure and sustainable environment. We also have a science technology park with 4 centers of excellence in automotive, maritime technology, ICT and robotics, and creative design. The Teen Ideas actually is a joint virtual short program that gives great opportunity for ITS and UniMAP students to learn to express their ideas, increasing their English and presentation skills. At the same time, we hope that we can build a stronger engagement between ITS and UniMAP, which is one of important points from this virtual mobility program. We hope that all students from various backgrounds can learn to work with each other from 2 different countries. 10 Ideas is a kick-off collaborative program between ITS and UniMAP in 2020, where ITS hosts the first round that had completed a couple weeks ago, and UniMAP becomes host for this second round. Beyond this program, there are several planned collaborations with UniMAP this year, such as guest lecturing, collaborative online international learning program, and people-to-people collaboration between ITS and UniMAP. Finally, I would like to thank all the great effort that the UniMAP team have put in preparing the second round of Teen Ideas. And to all participants, we hope you have a very enjoyable, fruitful, and informative webinar today. Thank you very much, and enjoy the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Vice Rector Ahmad Radiansyah. So before starting the lectures, please allow me to review the event and the day. So we will have 2 speakers for today's event, and after the and followed by the questions and answer session. So after that, we will have a student group and presentation titled Assignment for Meeting 5 and 6. And 2 more presentations from our colleagues here, got a committee member regarding the study abroad in University Malaysia Police, long and short-term mobility, study abroad in Institute Teknologi 10 November, long and short-term mobility. And last will be followed by the closing remarks by our director of the Center for International Engagement. So there will be a 15-minute question and answer session right after each lectures. So please leave your question in the chat box. So your questions will be displayed during the Q&A session, and our speakers will answer your questions right after their lectures. So please be reminded also, an attendance document link will be provided at the end of the meeting, and e-certificate will be provided to the attendees who filled out the attendance form. So ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce our first speaker, Professor in Senior Technologies, Dr. Mohd Rizal Arshad from UniMAP. So Professor Mohd Rizal Arshad is currently the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic and International at University Malaysia Police, UniMAP, since December 2019. Prior, he has been working at the School of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, University Science Malaysia, starting from 8th of March 1999. He graduated from the University of Liverpool, United Kingdom in 1994 with a Bachelor of Engineering in Medical Electronic and Instrumentation. In 1995, he obtained his Master of Science in Electronic Control Engineering at the University of Salford, UK. In early of 1999, he successfully completed his PhD degree in Electronic Engineering, again from the University of Liverpool. He's currently the president of Malaysian Society for Automatic Control Engineers, past chair of IEEE Oceanic Engineering Society Malaysia chapter, and executive committee member for the IEM Marine Engineering and Naval Architecture Technical Division. His research interests are into autonomous ocean robotics, swarm analysis, and adaptive control approaches for real-world applications. So, without further ado, let us welcome Professor in Senior Technologist Dr. Mohd Rizal Arshad, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International UniMAP, to give his lecture on welcoming new normal, educating and preparing university stakeholders, UniMAP's experience. So please welcome Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much to the chairperson, Associate Professor Dr. Wahyurini. First of all, yang berusaha Dr. Engineer Ahmad Rushdian Shah, Vice Rector, Human Resource Organisation and Information System Technology ITS. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi Doktor. Juga kepada Dr. Octaviyanti Dwi Wahyurini, ITS Global Engagement Officer or Director, sorry. And then also to Mr. Muhammad Wahyu Islami, Junior Supervisor International Short Program ITS Global Engagement. Jadi terima kasih kerana atas jemputan pada pagi ini untuk saya berkongsi mungkin pengalaman pihak Universiti Malaysia Perlis menghadapi COVID-19. So I'm happy this morning to be part of the program. Congratulations to the team from ITS and also the team from UniMAP for successfully collaborating to organize this morning event. So this program, Virtual Mobility Program, Teen Ideas. So when I saw the title Teen Ideas, I wouldn't consider myself teen anymore, but it's obviously from my beard, etc. But then hopefully we can share. I can basically give my take on the topic on welcoming new normal, educating and preparing university stakeholders from our UniMAP experience. So if you allow me to share my slide, let me share my slide. Okay, can everyone see my slide? Can you see my slide? Yes?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you, Dr. Okay. So that's my position now, my post, my responsibility in Universiti Malaysia Perlis as a Deputy Vice Chancellor, looking after the academic and international aspect. So in our university, we have, of course, our Vice Chancellor, then we have 3 Deputy Vice Chancellor. So one, myself looking at academic and international. We have another Deputy Vice Chancellor looking on human research and innovation. And also one of the other colleague of mine looking on student activities and alumni. So this morning is probably combine both academic and international activities. So that's my email in case you would like to email me or some queries or anything. So basically, just want to share. In 2015, the Malaysian government have launched what we call the Malaysian Higher Education Blueprint with 10 shift or 10 focus shift that we need to be done to uplift or to move the higher education sector in the country, in Malaysia. So as you can see on the slides, we have on holistic entrepreneurial balanced graduates, we have on shift number 2 on talent excellence, shift number 3 on nation of lifelong learners, not long life learners, lifelong learners. Then we have quality TVET graduates. So this is what shift number 4 is what UniMAP have been entrusted for, to push to basically to do activities that will to enable Malaysia to produce quality TVET graduates. And then, of course, we have financial sustainability, empowered governance, improving the governance of the university. Number 7 on innovation ecosystem. Number 8 on global prominence or international visibility, if I can translate it. So this activity this morning is one example of trying to put UniMAP on the international scene, higher education scene. And then, of course, you have globalized online learning, and of course, number 10 is transforming higher education delivery. So basically, if you look at this, you have the outcomes, you have the enablers, and the aim is to learn values-driven talent. This is what was formulated in 2015. So of course, all this did not make is quite ambitious kind of aims, but starting for in Malaysian context, we had the lockdown starting for the university starting on the 18th of March this year. So on the 18th of March this year, we were just finishing our 6th week of our second semester for this 2019-2020 academic calendar. So we have a 15 weeks semester. So we just basically not even half, nearly half of the semester was given normally in a face-to-face presentation, lectures, labs, etc. But we had about another 8 to 9 weeks of lecture or academic time, which we couldn't deliver normally in terms of the teaching and learning activities. So our lockdown actually have not ended. It will end on the 31st of August this year. 31st of August this month, of course, this year, this month. So, but the restriction was very strict, then it was loosened, and it's a bit loose now. But people are asked to maintain in terms of physical distancing, etc. So I would see it basically it is a disruption in a way to us. So I've read in a book, one of the books that I've read, I think, there's a formula that changed people's behavior. It is called B equivalent to MAT. B, behavior, equivalent to MAT. M, motivation, A, ability, and T is trigger. So this is a simple formula to change behavior, right? For a person and for an institution like a university, like UniMAP, and I'm sure like ITS and many other universities. So how the organism behave, be it on the human being or organization level behave, you have the behavior will have if you want to bring about change, there must be motivation to change, must be motive to change, why you want to change. Then you have to have the ability to change, you have to have the tool, resources to change. But sometimes you do not have the trigger to change, the trigger. So in Malaysia, in UniMAP especially, we have been talking about online learning, using the social media to deliver our learning material for quite some time, but there was no trigger that will push us. But COVID-19 was a trigger to us, so it was a trigger. It's the T element. So now it changed how in UniMAP we deliver our academic program. So I guess it also have changed how ITS and many other universities deliver their academic program in order to complete. Because we cannot stop everything. We cannot suddenly come to a halt. We still need to continue our education for our students, but the mode have now changed. So this is, I think this image, this 10 shift it is until 2025. It's 2015 until 2025 is a 10-year plan. And then I've read somewhere about the 10 skills. They say there are many proposals of what are kind of the skills that you need to thrive in, not just in, I think this was before, pre-COVID-19, but I guess some of the things listed here are still valid in terms of our cognitive ability, in terms of our people management, critical thinking, complex problem solving. So we had a tough time trying to solve. I think all of us have had quite a tough time juggling options. How do we continue our semesters? Do we stop everything, or do we do partially? Do you do normally? What do you do? How do you not just from the lecturers or faculty members perspective, also coming from the student. Importantly, coming from the student perspective, do they join the bandwagon, join the online education, or do they just opt to postpone the semester and continue after the semester have now returned back, when the normality have returned? So as of now, all of us have accepted the fact that life will not revert back to basically what we've seen before COVID-19. Vaccine, I think in the US, one of the top medical advisor in the US was saying that the earliest vaccine would be in April 2021. That's the earliest. Of course, many researchers are working on on vaccine in China, in Russia, even in Malaysia. I'm sure in Indonesia, everywhere people are working on finding the vaccine. But the earliest would not be soon. It will be maybe middle, or that is when the vaccine is ready. But by the time it reaches, it may need more time. Maybe early 2022. So we are projecting we are projecting for the long run. We are not projecting for a short-term solution or short-term way out now from the vaccine perspective. So how do we at the university, and how do students in the university manage this? Because you cannot suddenly postpone your life. If you postpone and wait, we must plan, and we must plan accordingly. So we cannot just decide to stop everything, stop the clock, and just wait for things to get better. I mean, things will change. Change is the constant in life. So we need to adapt and adapt to the environment, adopt all the possible or new ways of doing things in order for us to carry on with our life. Be it you as a student, us as a faculty members or administrators, the university, we need to continue living and doing what we're supposed to do. So we know in the education ecosystem, you have, of course, you have the ecosystem of if let's say in our society, you have the education, for example, providing basic higher education vocational skills, which will produce a pool of quality workforce, for example. Of course, you have the research aspect of it, people doing fundamental research, all this. When you talk about COVID-19 vaccine, this is where fundamental research is important, not just the end user. We cannot just become the end user. There must be some group of people doing research, being an expert in fundamental research, because this is where critically they are needed in order to come up with new solutions, a vaccine in this particular case, to overcome the pandemic, COVID-19. Of course, and then you talk about innovation, applied is how do you apply the research and linking it with industry. So you have this quadruple helix of or interconnectedness between different sectors. So of course, for universities, we are in the education sector. Of course, from the faculty perspective, as a docent or as a lecturer, and from the student perspective. So, and we know that the student time in university are transient. They won't be here forever. Students, of course, nobody wants to be in university forever unless you're working here. But then, so when you talk about students, so you need to make sure that the duration of time you've spent in the university on campus, going through university life, must be able to prepare you for the future. And this is the crux of the matter, because nobody knows what the future holds for us. Nobody have really predicted accurately that this pandemic, some people saying about it, but nobody really thought that it will be as problematic as what we have seen today. So in the university context, we are educating students 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to get a degree, for example. But nobody can really guarantee, university cannot really guarantee that they will be ensured of a job, of some employment at the end. So at the end of the day, we need to be able to prepare students who are robust enough, versatile enough to adapt and adopt and apply whatever skills they have to continue their life in society, contributing to society itself. There's no university, I don't think there is any university, their program will have a job or employment at the end. I remember our minister was saying that we do not want to produce a job seeker, just a job seekers, but we want to produce job creators or job initiators. So this is a big challenge to us. And in COVID-19, post-COVID-19 pandemic, it is a challenge because jobs, some businesses are not performing, they're not employing new graduates. So how do the graduates, our graduates, scenario? So this is something that needs to be thought out while the students are in the university before they enter the society and the job market. So when we talk about normality in terms of on campus, in terms of the university ecosystem, education ecosystem, sure, things have changed. Things have changed now. So it used to be, at least in the UniMAP context, I think in terms of enrollment, I think ours, we have around about 13 to 14,000, 15,000 max, our enrollment, undergraduate and postgraduate. We are a bit smaller in numbers compared to ITS. And we are what we call a technical university. We do not have like program like medicine or law, etc. It's purely technical engineering. We have like engineering program, technical engineering technology program, diploma program, bachelor of technology program. Yes. So we have. So it used to be in UniMAP online education is we have some of it, but it's not the mainstream. So the mainstream is the normal face-to-face lectures, face-to-face labs, etc. The normal conventional mode of teaching and learning. But post COVID-19 this pandemic have forced quote unquote forced us to reevaluate our approach. And now, alhamdulillah, a blessing in disguise, I would say, due to COVID-19. Now we have remold or relook or review the way we deliver our teaching and learning, and I would say almost more than 90% of our courses subject offered are now ready to be offered a mix of not totally dependent on a face-to-face delivery mode. So it's quite good. And we have recently we have discussed in UniMAP that by 2025 at least 50% of all the courses or subject offered in UniMAP will be done through blended learning, and some subject will be done, some courses will be done 100% using the online mode. That means, so the VC, our Vice Chancellor was saying that our program in UniMAP must be accessible, can be accessible at any time, by anywhere, anytime, and it must be affordable. It must be adaptable. So that means it's like that means we are moving away from the conventional mode of program offering and also delivery and also assessment. So this is interesting because if you look about it's no longer teacher-centered. All of us know that it is now student-centered higher education ecosystem where the student interests are at most, it used to be, it's supposed to be, but now in terms of the way we mold our program and also prepare the modules, it is what we call a student-centered higher education ecosystem. Where we talk about flexible allocation, now the students are not it would be better if they are on campus, but not necessarily. They can be anywhere. And then in terms of flexible education, a flexible schedule, for example, we are talking about synchronous, asynchronous way of lecturing. Synchronous means live lectures like the normal face-to-face, but online, for example. And then asynchronous means recorded. That means the student can always have a review of the lectures at a later time. So we talk about synchronous, asynchronous lectures. We talk about fixed and flexible schedule. We talk about a modular-based topics. That means rather than cramping everything in one semester, you can basically collect modules, and that modules equate to certain courses, for example. And then we are also exploring about micro-credentials, online distance learning, playing around with the tools and mediums using the social media, for example. So there are quite very many interesting permutations or options that we are considering now. Of course, talk about learning with peers, talk about upskilling at work. So this is a challenge because I think a challenge for almost all higher education providers, universities and institutes, because we are supposed to produce graduates or students who are ready for the job market, and this is a very, very challenging because I think, as I said much earlier, nobody knows what the future holds for us. Even the industry which are thriving now may die out within 3 to 4 years down the road. So it's quite challenging, very tricky for us to tie our education system strictly to a particular industry, for example, or to a particular skill set. So that's why the interest is on the student, and ensuring that the student are able to complete their higher education study and be able to survive, to live properly, and also hopefully contribute to society. So in the Malaysian higher education system, we have what we call a concept of transformative learning. So I think this is something that the students may want to discuss and to elaborate on. We talk about future-ready curriculum. This is very tricky because, as I said, if you can prepare a curriculum if you can be sure of the future, but nobody can be sure of. You can be sure about the history, but even then, there are some issues, discussion, disagreement. But at least we are very consensus on it that we cannot be sure of anything solid in the future, not just 1 to what about 5 years on the road. Nobody can confidently say that he can be certain of that particular scenario. But how do we develop what we call a future-ready curriculum? What is a future-ready curriculum? If you do not know what the future holds for you, so this is an interesting question for not just for the institution, for university, especially for the students. How can I be sure? So he or she, the students, I would say, needs to be able to work hand in hand with the university to come out and always give feedback. There's no this mode of one-way stream of education is no longer viable. It must be feedback and enhancement and optimizing, enhancing, consolidating in terms of the curriculum. So this is one aspect. The other one is on innovative delivery. As I talk about synchronous and asynchronous, I talk about active learning, problem-based learning. So that using, for example, Facebook, using YouTube, using WhatsApp, Telegram, all these social media communication software. You use Google Classroom, for example, in UniMAP. Almost all, if not all, almost all our lecturers are heavily use the Google Classroom facilities in order to conduct the online learning, and not just learning, but also online assessment of their students. So I would say, in terms of innovative delivery, it's a challenge for the lecturers to lift their skills and their ability to capability in order to prepare the material, and also to make sure that the students are ready also to change their mindset for both of them, and also the organization to change their mindset that the conventional setup of a classroom where you have the whiteboard and you have the lecturer talking or lecturing in front, and you have rows and rows of students listening, like exactly what I'm doing now, is no longer, may not be the most viable option in the future. It will be an interactive one. Probably a problem will be posed and everybody will give ideas, and then you learn through that example. So there are innovative delivery of content. The third one is on alternative assessment. So this is interesting to UniMAP especially because before the COVID-19 lockdown, most of our courses or subjects, if the summative assessment, you have the formative and summative. The summative assessment are conducted to normal final examination face to face in a big examination hall. The student have to come and sit for the exam. But then, due to pandemic, where the student, you cannot gather in large crowds, you cannot gather in big numbers, in close proximity. So I would say more than 90%. I would say more than 90% of all the courses subject offered for the recent semester 2 were converted. The assessment were converted to continuous assessment. That means there was no final examination. All are converted to group project, assignment, online test, but there's no physical face-to-face. So that really the assessment has now changed. So no longer that we have to spend 2-3 weeks examination weeks. No, because now the evaluation have been done continuously. So this is what been done and we found that, of course, depending on where the students are during the pandemic, almost all our students are not in campus. They are back in their hometown, in their villages, and some of them have good network connection, internet connection. Some of them cannot get any connection through. So quite challenging for the lecturers to deliver their content and to do assessment, and vice versa. Quite challenging also for the students to listen and to appreciate the lectures, because now while they are listening to the lectures, their little brothers and sisters are playing, their mothers are cooking, this kind of setup. So not all of them, but some of them. So the difficulties come from both parties, from the lecturers and from the student perspective. So, and in this complexity, you want to do assessment. So issue of integrity, reliability of assessment were evaluated. So, and we've learned a lot from our experience for this when we were trying to complete. When we embarked trying to complete the semester 2 for academic year 2019-2022. So alternative assessment. The fourth one is on transformative learning, which I think would be interesting. Is on redesigning the learning spaces. Redesigning this is not just the physical layout, but how, because when you talk about innovative delivery, that will affect or will change the physical layout of our learning spaces. Probably we do not need, we need to change our setting. For example, this one big whiteboard in front and rows and rows of chairs, long chairs in a normal lecture room may not be the best learning spaces. You might want to use a round table kind of setup, etc. So that means this exploration of new type of learning spaces will also be part of all these our aim to provide a transformative learning experience to the students that will make sure that they can be what we call value infused future-proof talent. Future-proof talent, not just be worried that there's no job around, but be ready to create jobs, to initiate jobs, to survive in later in life, not just trying to hoping for assistance throughout their life. So this is And for UniMAP, we basically have a tagline. We call it, we are a future-proof technical university, inshallah. Future-proof technical university. That means we hope that our programs, our graduates will be valued locally, but of course will be valued internationally in the international market. So I would say in terms of learning, transformative learning, I think this is quite relevant to all of us. Okay, so let me move forward. I think this is what we call normal conventional lectures mode. But it's okay. Please bear with me just a few more minutes before I pass back to the moderator. So when we talk about the new normal in education sector and preparing our university stakeholders, the most important stakeholders in a university setting is of course the students, because the students are our most important stakeholders. Stakeholders are those who have an interest in whatever is happening on campus. So students, so you talk about students, you talk about smart learners. They need to be smart learners, not just they are not sponge. You know, it's not sponge. Education is not just about gathering information. If you want to gather information, we can never beat Google. They have all the data, right? So it's not about memorizing things. It's about connecting the dots and making sense. What does it mean? So and now knowledge at their fingertips. Memorization is good, yes, but there's more to memorization. How do you make sense? How do you bring meaning to the thing that we memorize, that we read, so that it can be applied to solve real problem, to do something meaningful later in life, not just having the ability to remember things. So we talk about smart learners, smart pedagogies. That means how do people learn? There is called what we call you have pedagogies. Pedagogy means you learn from your peers. And then there are so many other gogis which cybergogis. That's the one. Cybergogy and pedagogy. Pedagogy, learning from your peers. Cybergogy means you learn using all the cyberspace, from the cyberspace, from all the material that is available in the cyberspace. So, and then you talk about smart learning environment, which is not very quite similar to the learning spaces. And then you have the smarter education in terms of the philosophy of education that you talk about in the post COVID-19. So again, this is basically repeating again what when you talk about smart learning environment. I think this is what's needed for the new student, the current batches of students, that they need to be smart enough to realize what's their aim and what's the tools that they need to have in order for them to hopefully increase their chances of surviving in the future, in the real world, when they go into society, when they finish they graduate from their campus phase of their life. So talk about adapting to learning content, using new tools, learning strategies, understanding the real world context, and also this interaction. This in IR 4.0 is about connectivity, for example. So in IR 4.0, the most important thing is about connectivity. So now you can be somewhere in the jungle, but you can still connect to somewhere far away from you. That means, and how do you then utilize this in order to assist our learning? So basically, I have a few more slides, but it's okay. I think what I want to highlight is that from UniMAP experience, what we have, I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing. When we have been asked to went into lockdown, partial lockdown, that means, and we have to close our universities. It was closed physically, but the student did continue their study online, virtually. So they were, and of course, throughout the whole batches of students, we have some who did not manage to have access at all to the internet, and then we had now we are able to ask them to come back to the campus. I think starting early June. So we had from 18th of March until end of June, where the student are not allowed to come back, but starting end of June they were allowed to come back. So we had the opportunity to ask the also students which did not have the opportunity to follow our online to come back. So my point is that there were good mitigation measures, and in order to ensure that everyone have the same opportunity to complete their semesters. And hopefully I think for the future, looking on the horizon, I think as I said, rightly highlighted by the Vice Rector earlier, things we have to be the way we, in terms of physical distancing, in terms of all the standard operating procedures to prevent possible infection, will always still be there. But we need hoping that the vaccine will be found and will be easily accessible to all. So until then and the future, we need to be able to have. We still have to continue. We must continue in terms of education programs, and the students must keep moving in terms of going through the phases of their studies so that they can graduate and contribute to society as soon as possible. So I think that's about it, my sharing today. I have a few more slides, but I think I would say I will just stop at that point, and I hope you have gained something from this morning session. So just one more point. So I was asked to give a talk recently to a group of international conference with the Indian universities in India, online of course. So we were talking about this. The most important thing in the new normal is about the mindset. Our mindset must change. If our mindset has not changed, it's not changing at all. You can be using so many tools, but you're going to have all this internal struggle to adapt because you have not changed your mindset. So the most important thing for students and also for faculty members, dosen seperti saya, we must change our mindset, that we must be able to adapt and adopt. For me, to adapt and to adopt new tools and new strategies. And also the fact that we are no longer teaching a simple model. It is what we call a multi-model, MODL, multi-model, multi-dimensional education sector for the higher education. It's no longer one style. We must be able to embrace different ways of ultimately, as long as ultimately it will produce good graduates, quality graduates. As for us in Malaysia, in UniMAP, we are aiming to produce quality TVET graduates. And for the record, we have 4 technical universities in Malaysia, and in terms of graduate employability or GE, alhamdulillah, all the 4 have been performing very well. More than 90% graduate are employed after graduation. So we are very happy. So we hope. So I hope I have shared and you have gained something. I'm sorry if I speak a bit fast, or you cannot pick up my point. But I think we can always discuss more. So thank you to listening. So thank you very much. So I pass back the floor to Dr. Ong. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Prof. So thank you for the informative lecture. So we are now open for a Q&A session from our audiences. And Prof. Rizal, and please stay with us. And we need you to answer the question. Okay. So we have the first question from Aisha, and she said, "Salam Prof. I agree that alternative is the way forward. Post COVID-19. How will we design win-to-win situation for the students. When there are too many assessments due to online environment, students have the tendency to just completing the project, report, etc. For the purpose of grading. So how would we shift the mindset from assessment for learning instead of assessment for grading?
Okay, thank you, Aisha. I'm not sure whether Aisha is a lecturer or a student.
Lecturer.
Oh, lecturer. Okay. So anyway, so we know that in assessment there's two types of assessment: the formative and summative assessment. The formative assessment is when we assess in order we do assessment, formative assessment, in order for us to enhance learning. Sometimes we do quizzes, for example. It's not much for the quizzes to the marks to be considered for the final mark, but more to help the student to pick up the point or the learning content that being delivered. So I think in the UniMAP experience, I think this is to be fair, there were many problems to be fair, because this is the first time, and there was we realized that even our assessment, the way we do assessment, and whether even the way the quality of assessment that we did were valid or not, that's another question. Because and I think in some schools, there were no discussion among lecturers in charge of different subjects, for example. So what you have is that you have one student getting maybe in a day maybe 5-6 new assignment from 6 courses or 6 lecturers, because I don't think we discuss. I do not know, I may be wrong, but my take on when I'm listening to some students, that in a day they can be getting maybe 3-4 new assessment and new assignment, for example. And some of the assignments are need quite a lot of time to do. But when sometimes when lecturers they give assignment, from their perspective, it's quite, wouldn't take the student too long to complete it. But from the student perspective, because now instead of having one, they're having another 9-10 for the day to complete. So this is some harmonization or some synchronization, I would say, among the course provider. When you do assessment, that kind of level must be considered first, because now what we did before was, and everybody was doing their own idea of how to conduct an online learning and also assessment. So I think we have learned our lesson. So in the future, when we conduct the blended learning, etc., I think there will be more harmonization, synchronization, and more probably better tools in order to do our assessment, and not just for grading, but also especially for learning. Because I think at the end of the day, the grading is to measure learning attainment, and we know about the Bloom taxonomy, etc. So it's just my view on it. I think some lecturers some of us may be confusing that, maybe confused, and they mix everything. That means formative becomes summative, and summative becomes formative, and everything. Because I would think there are assessment that we do is mainly actually to enhance learning, but there are assessment that we do for grading. Hopefully, maybe itulah. Lebih bicara yang panjang ni.
Wow, that's good. Thank you, Prof. So we have another question for you. How does the university ensure the smooth transition from education to research in post-COVID-19 era? And what are the challenges for the university and the students?
Okay, for this, I would Okay, I would be biased talking about academic on the education side. I wouldn't be talking about the research aspect because I'm in charge of the academic and international. But I do believe that the core responsibility of university is to teach, is to educate rather than to research. So that means if you take if you leave focus on the academic matters, teaching and educating, and take out the research, you still call that particular setup a university. But if you just leave the research and take out the academic education, nobody will call that a university. They will call it a research institute. So that means the core of university is education. So, but research is part and parcel of education, because when the professors and the lecturers do proper research, the new knowledge that they gain from research will enhance their teaching content, the way they teach, because what they teach in the textbooks have now been improved, been more consolidated with what findings that they got from the research. I think so. It's not about the issue of transitioning from education to research. I think it is running concurrently. It is running concurrently, means in parallel. But the problem is, the challenge is to ensure that there's link between education and research. This has always been a challenge to many universities. That means the academic and research is like a two-stream, and they never meet each other. They never cross each other. But the challenge with university is to not just to transition from education to research, but to bridge, I would say, to bridge the academic and education activities to the research activities. Then that will basically hopefully solve all the issues that we cannot solve all the issues, but hopefully settle some of the issues. And of course, the challenges for university and the students are probably in terms of governance, because when you don't have students on campus, for example, and you have students everywhere around the world, around the country, for example, and you do assessment, integrity. What's the governance in terms of ensuring that integrity of the assessment? How in terms of duration of semesters? Now we have students supposed to finish in 8 semesters, up to 14 semesters. But can that be extended? Can that be shortened, for example? Can I shorten my study from 8 semesters to, let's say, 4 semesters? Can't. If you do it now, you can't do it. But how about the future? So I would say governance, budget. Budget is a big issue, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there's a lot of issues with economy and budget cuts. We have been getting the budget. We have been told in form of the next year budget cuts, for example. So we thought we want to apply more money, but now we have been told that budget will be cut. So how we need to use our own money, for example. So not my money, the own money means university money. So but do we have the money? So monetary issue is a big thing, and also to manage the expectation of society. These are, to say, 3 big issues. I would say facing all the universities. I hope I have answered some of the question. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prof. We have another questions for you. And in your opinion, should the future-proof curriculum includes the internationalization of the curriculum? How about the global classroom without border that can be done online?
Okay, so I've just joined UniMAP December 2019 last year. So I've told the deans, also the schools, that the program that we are having now and we are going to propose in the future must be no longer targeted just for the local, that means Malaysian or local market potential student, but it must be aimed for international market. That means once you aim a program for international markets, automatically that will be just fine for your local markets, because at the end of the day, our programs in UniMAP all are accredited by the international accreditation bodies, and our graduates are now recognized everywhere around the world, many countries around the world. So it's a paradox if our curriculum are not internationally ready. So I wouldn't be worried about that. And then there's another question. What the second part was? What? I lose the question just now. The second part.
How about the global classroom without border? Yeah.
Okay. As of now, because we are UniMAP is a technical university, quite significant number of our courses and subjects have the hands-on aspect. That means they have to go to lab, etc. But we have identified a number of courses program which can be run 100% online. So we are aiming for that for such course and subjects that will probably be it can easily be offered online, and people can be anywhere to take it. But there are also some arrangement where the student will, we have, let's say, 8 semesters, probably they can come maybe the first 3-4 semesters they can take online, then they only come the last few semesters to complete it. That's another option that we are figuring out now. But basically, we are by October, hopefully, UniMAP will launch our UniMAP Flexible Education Framework, and this will enable many of the things that we mentioned here today. Hopefully, inshallah. Thank you.
Okay, that's so great. So I think the last question for Prof. Do the from our the friends from ITS, Matika, and do stakeholders such as department heads directly guide the feedback that has been given by students? Like there are students who give advice to do synchronous learning because these courses are less understandable if asynchronous. Did UniMAP also see the development of the teaching lecturer before and after the feedback? And I want to know, is it possible that after this pandemic, UniMAP will also conduct online learning?
Oh, this is like 3 questions in one.
Yes, in one.
So kalau Kak Malaysia kata tak aci, it's okay. So basically, from our UniMAP experience, when we started conduct, the lockdown started on the 18th of March. It was the lockdown. But our semesters, everything stopped. All the lectures stopped. But we restart the lectures on the 6th of April. So it's about 2 weeks. 2 weeks really lockdown. That was what we had before. But from the 6th of April until about end of June, we have conducted online learning, etc. So we did a weekly feedback. We gather weekly feedback from the students, and especially, and also not also from the students. And this was presented. This was presented on our weekly meeting in order to give feedback to the faculties and the program. This was done. These activities were done. But after this, I think what we need to do is that all the feedback need to be channeled to the respective docent or lecturers so that they can now improve the way they conduct their lectures, etc. But that means there is this process. There must be this process of getting and providing feedback to the stakeholders. If not, there's no point of getting feedback. Okay. Of course, the second one, you may also see okay. We must understand that we did not foresee this, that we're going to suddenly switch to everything online. So I would say we did have some short courses, seminars about online learning, but it was, I would say, superficial. This is not good to be said online, but it was not really, we did not really push for it now. But now, because of the pandemic, now we have to plan properly so that all the lecturers are ready. For example, how to use a Google Classroom suite, for example, all the softwares, how do you do assessment. So we have now learned a lot. So we hope even our IT center now have now been have learned a lot, gained a lot of experience from the lockdown recently. So we hope all the way that our lecturers conduct their teaching and learning would improve way better than what we have done before. Whether UniMAP will also conduct online learning? Yes. As I told you, there will be a few courses that we will conduct 100% online, because courses is mostly are non-technical, where they do not need to go to labs, etc. Okay. Okay. I hope I will respond. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Yes. Hi, Prof. Thank you so much for all the answers that you have given to all the audiences. And actually, you have some questions more that are waiting for you to answer. But due to the time constraint, is it possible?
Dr. Tunku Saha will answer it. Okay, don't worry.
Okay. I thought Prof will be answer it in the chat box.
She will answer it here.
All right. So
thank you to everyone.
So we will try to answer it in the chat box later on to the other questions from our audiences. So thank you so much, Prof, for the very informative and so inspirational talk to us. So thank you so much, Prof. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
And we have to go for the second speakers.
Okay.
Right. So ladies and gentlemen, so we are now going to listen to the second speaker, Miss Octaviyanti Dwi Wahyurini from ITS Surabaya, Indonesia. So let me introduce her. And Miss Octaviyanti Dwi Wahyurini is Senior Manager on Promotion and Mobility at ITS Global Engagement and also Assistant Professor at Visual Communication Design Department of ITS Surabaya. Miss Octaviyanti just earned her PhD in Rhetoric, Communication and Information Design from Clemson University, United States of America, with a focus in rhetorics of user experience, user interaction design. In her research, she approaches the use of rhetorics to reinforce the standpoint of culture in user experience, user interaction design. In her 15 years working as an academic staff in ITS, she has been trusted for some projects and managerial position. In 2019 to 2016, she was appointed as a liaison officer for international partnership. Her responsibilities included initiating and managing international relations with international design schools. Since 2013, she managed to build relations with design schools from South Korea, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Thailand. So with the title, The Importance of Understanding Users in Interaction Design, let us welcome Ms. Octaviyanti, Senior Manager on Promotion and Mobility, ITS Global Engagement, ITS Surabaya, to give her lecture. Please give a big applause to her.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ong, for the remarks. To the Honorable Professor Muhammad Rizal Arshad, and to the Honorable Dr. Ahmad Rustiansyah, to the Honorable Professor Tunku Saha, and also to Dr. Arthur, finally meeting you here in virtually, and Dr. Ong Huilin, the moderator. Thank you so much for the very warm welcoming remarks. So please allow me to share my screen. So today I would like to deliver some knowledge, I think, about the importance of understanding users in interaction design. So as have mentioned by Dr. Ong, in the beginning that my background is visual communication designers. I'm teaching design thinking, design creativity, and with this kind of topic, I would like to conduct an approach in the view of interaction designers. So, what is the interaction design? So, according to the interaction-design.org, interaction design, or IXD, is a design of interactive products and services in which a designer's focus goes beyond the item in development to include the way users will interact with it. Thus, close scrutiny of users' needs, limitations, and contexts, etc., empowers designers to customize output to suit precise demands. So, if we chopping up the definition itself, so these designers must focus, the focus of designer, must go beyond the item. So a designer is not only focusing on how the mechanism of the item itself, but also they have to think how the way users will interact with the item or the product. Then the designers has to be very closely taking account the user's needs, what they need, and their limitations, and also context. So for the context itself, because we're an Asian, we consider an Asians, we're not a white people, so our culture really taking account, really influence us how we interact with the technology. So when we have make a very close scrutiny on our users' needs, limitations, and context, it will empower you as designers here to customize output to suit precise demands. So precise demands. So you have to highlight this. It's so we cater someone. We cater to some community. Okay? So what the goal of making an interaction design is to make an enjoyable experience, a feel of satisfaction and pleasure toward a product. So if you're making an interaction design interactive product, you must not create a frustration. You have to make them happy or enjoy with the product. Okay? So the interaction design is a part of UX or user experience design. It's just one thing, one small thing within the user experience design. What the user experience itself, it's every aspect of the user's interaction with a product, service, or company that makes up the user's perceptions of the whole. And also the user experience is the quality of experience a person has when interacting with the specific design. So the user experience, whether it's good or whether it's bad, it's included in their experience. And those kind of experience also will lead them to have a perceptions about other things. Okay, so the user experience, it's either good impressions toward an object. Okay, in the fields of user experience designs, there are so many activities and topics. It's usability engineering, design research, human factors, technical communication, branding, visual design, blah, blah, blah. And interaction design is just one of the slice of this 12 topics. So, and in the interaction design activities, there's so many things that you have to conduct or to do when you would like to design an interactions. So we will not in this slides. I will not going to discuss all of them, but I will try my best to explain about the half of it, almost more than half of it. I think it's 7 activities. So that are about the understanding and the definition about interaction design. So we have the competitive analysis, user research, domain modeling, brainstorming, user modeling, scenarios, high-level representation. So I know I hope you're not feeling overwhelmed with my presentations. You will like, oh my God, I only like 1 month ahead with my real classes. But I already have a lecture during during your break. But it's okay. It's only like warming up you for the next semester. So how we simplify those kind of activities that you see that, oh, it's very complicated. So I will guide you with design thinking process diagram. So the Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design at Stanford University, they developed the design thinking process diagram. So this kind of process, it's not a linear, but it's a very flexible process. So you can jump from empathize to ideate to define to like this. So it's not linear. So I would like to narrow down. So we will limit the discussions today. We only use 4 process in design thinking. So we will use the emphasize, define, ideate, and prototype in terms of designing and interactions or designing an interactive product. So as for the empathize, in the empathize, the process is a designer will conduct interviews. This interview, who's there will be interviewing. The one who they will be interviewing are the prospective users or the targeted users. So why you have to do interview? Because you will need to uncover emotions. So the statement would be like, I feel so frustrated with this product. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I don't like this one. So it must be something that's related to emotions. And then they have to seek stories. The 6 stories about the product itself. So like why they would like to go to a restaurant, for example. I really like this restaurant because I went here for the first time with my mom. So it's very impressive to me, and it's very. I remember that kind of experience. It was very enjoyable. I ate ice cream, blah blah blah. So the stories, you need the stories, okay? And then define. In the define phase, you have to reframe and create human-centric problem statements. So you have to reframe that. What is the problem with the product or the surface? If you during the online learning, you will find so many complaints maybe regarding the learning itself. What I see just like just too much assignments, and then maybe for us the staff, it's like there's always almost 20, maybe I think like almost 18 hours of meetings, like marathon meetings. We have no time to stop. Also, you have to reframe that. What kind of problem? And then identify meaningful surprises and tensions. So with this kind of process, what is the meaningful surprises? What is you think that it's very exciting, it's very interesting, we never thought about that, so you have to highlight that. And then infer insights. And for the ideate phase, the process, you have to brainstorm the radical ideas and then build on others' ideas and suspend judgment. So you have to just to let yourself thinking out of the box, to brainstorming on the radical ideas, and when you do that, do as many as you can, and then you can narrow it by back to your problem statement definitions, and then you do prototyping. Within the prototyping phase, you will create scenarios. I will explain that later. So this is the way the way a designer, an interactive designer, will do by the guidelines of design thinking. So in the competitive analysis, we do the empathize phase, and then the domain modeling, we do the define. Within the ideate, the brainstorming will include in this process. And then prototyping, we use the user modeling, scenarios, and high-level presentations. Okay, so for the empathize process, the existing. So you will assess, the assessment will be like, how is the university currently preparing for the new normal? Okay, every learning process are transformed into online platform. That's the one. How about the else? What is the current channel to disseminate the information to the stakeholders to prepare them for the new normal? Okay. What kind of media that the university used to distribute those informations? They do like a formal letter. They send it to the head of departments. They send it to the head of faculty, or they send all them to the units. Everything is online. Everything is on their websites. Something like that. So, and then define and map your prospective users within the university, Varsity, or beyond the university. Your prospective users could be including your stakeholders within they're within the university. So they would be staff, the academic staff, the non-academic staff, the students, and who else? Maybe we will miss someone. And who and what are they? Okay. About the beyond the university. So for like in ITS, ITS is we have a community outside of community of campus. This community of campus, they've been our supporting environment. They selling food. They have rooms for rent for the students on and off campus. So define, who are they? Who are the prospective users? And then how do they stay connect with their community or workplace colleagues? So if you say, the students, how the students within the UniMAP or the students in ITS connect to their community, connect to their friends. If they in ITS, maybe we have to connect to our lecturers or professors with WhatsApp, but we connect or with friends with Line. So it's different tools. So it's for the students. How about everybody else? It's for the stakeholders within the campus. How about the people, the community outside or beyond the campus? So what kind of communication channels that they are used to be exposed with? So are they still watching TV? Or, they're into YouTube? Or, I don't think so, they're really into Instagram. Do you think so? So try to assess this, try to investigate. And what are users' concerns on the new normal? What are their concerns? What is their worry? I don't like this. I really enjoy this. So what are the users' concerns about the new normal? And how do they keep themselves updated with an announcement or orders about the new normal policy and practice from the university? Sometimes we will find a hope that people will miss the information because they're not tuned in the correct channel. I only do WhatsApp. I don't do Instagram. Oh, I'm sorry, because all the information on Instagram is on the website. We also send emails to all the staff. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I never opened my email. Something like that. So, and also, what did they learn about measures and mitigation organized by the university so far? And what do they think and feel about it? So this is important. What did they learn? And what do they think and feel about the measures and mitigation? And then in the next phase, you have to define the current problems regarding the new normal preparation. Highlights unexpected and interesting facts. And also define targeted users within and beyond Varsity campus by creating personas. What is personas? Okay, so creating personas. User experience specialist Aurora Herley from the Nielsen Norman Group explains that there are 6 common pieces of information that make up a persona. So persona is some imaginative targeted users, but based on facts, so based on the real data. But you develop a person here just to so that you can create the solution of the interactive design. So a personas must include name, age, gender, and image of the persona, preferably including some context in the background. So like name, Oyin, age, 30-something, gender, female, an image of the persona, a doctor, US graduate, and she loves cooking so much, something like that. So put some context in the background. And then a tagline indicating what the persona does or considers relevant in his or her life. So for me, my tagline would be a foodie enthusiast, a mom and foodie enthusiast, something like that. And then the experience and relevant skills the persona has in the area of the product or service you'll be developing. So my experience was what? I'm a lecturer, I'm an assistant professor in interaction design. And then put some context to indicate how I would interact with the product or the service. If you would like to create an apps, for instance, so how will I interact with how will I use this? Is it like voluntary, or it's a policy that imposed by the university? I have to use this app. And then any goals, attitudes, and then quotes and a brief scenario. So persona could be presented like that. So racial, a cooking foodie, age, occupation, education, family status, blah, blah, blah. This is something that you can find on Google. So don't worry too much. Okay? And then ideate. Based on personas you generated, so you can create any possible form of communication. And then new media, application, policy that can reach out and educate your target effectively. And then prototyping, by creating a visual scenario about the implementation of your ideas. Oh, let me get back to previous slides. So any possible form of communication, new media apps, is it always to be, is it supposed to be digital, always be digital outcome? Not always. That's why you have to understand your users and what kind of media or channels that they've always exposed to. Okay? And then prototyping. So this is the kind of the prototyping. You can visualize your idea with storyboards like this, or you can have like a monologue, and then you telling stories to us by background music. So be creative. This is one way, but there are more ways. 1, 2, and some more. That's what my professor always told me. And then this is a COVID-Wise. The COVID-Wise is an app developed by the Department of Health in state of Virginia in the United States. This app will give a notification to the users in regards to are there people with the history of exposure to the COVID-19 infections. So when you came to a place, a public space, and then this app will send you notifications that within the 2 meters from you, there is someone who has the history of being infected by the COVID-19. So when you receive this alert, you know how to mitigate yourself. So, oh, I'm not supposed to be here, or I have to be more careful not to get infected. Okay. And then this is the other ideas. So the ideas, we learned that students, and also maybe not only students, but also people, staff, academic, non-academic staff, academic staff, they like to use stickers, to emoji stickers to express as a mode of expressions. So they developed this. If you look at this, the words, it's budayakan bermasker, or literally like face mask culture. So they designed this Indonesian, because Indonesia we have like 300 ethnicities. So they dressed up as each of the ethnicities in Indonesia, and then it delivers with the local dialect. So it's not only in Indonesian or bahasa Indonesia, tapi we also include like Maduris, bahasa Madura, and then Jawanese, bahasa Jawa, something like that. And also, this is the mayor of Surabaya, Bu Tri Risma Harini. In this pictures, she was delivering a message to people from Madura. Madhuri's ethnicities who live in Surabaya, because she awares that some of them the Madhuris, they don't speak Bahasa Indonesia, and it will be more engaging if she spoke in Madhuris. And then this is some of the mitigations. This is the head of elementary students with face shield attached. And then this is the public transportations in Indonesia. And they have things like this. And then every corner in Indonesia, you will find a place or stations, I think, station to wash your hands. And then it's why I told you it's not always be the digital media, because sometimes if you would like to look around, you will also have different ideas from others. So maybe like shopping bag like this, or a cute cup like this. Maybe this guy will use mask instead of glasses, or this kind of ideas. So I mean that you have to explore, not only limited yourself with digital solutions, but also try to seek other solutions. Okay, thank you so much. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Oin, for
You're very
such an
welcome.
insightful lecture, and we learned a lot from you instead. And now we will have the question and answer session, and we actually have few questions here. So the first question, can you share your experience with us on how do you form collaboration with other universities from South Korea, the Netherlands, Denmark and Thailand on your experience or user interaction design? Should the design be localized or generalized for a greater audiences like the foreign countries?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ong, and thank you for the question as well. So in terms of the experience and designing user experience or user interaction design for people, of course, I think design must be, there's for the system itself, it's like for the Western culture, it's all they have to be generalized, because it's for the vision of internationalization and globalization. However, instead whether it's generalized, they have to make rooms for customization, so that kind of the products can be customized for the local users. For example, your smartphones, they have options for your own native language. Some of you will speak Mandarin, some of you will speak Indonesian or Malayu, something like that. There are rooms for customizations. So because sometimes something that happened in this for like the Western countries, they develop the technology, but mainly it's just to serve the Western lifestyles. Some of us who's living in non-Western settings, we maybe not feeling engaged, or we not feeling be included in those kind of system or technology. So that's why they have to make rooms for customizations. I think like that. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And for the second question, in your slide number 10, on the topic of the design thinking process diagram, what do you mean by the process does not necessarily linear and can be applied as needed? And is any sequence of importance for the elements presented in the diagram?
Okay, so sometimes it's in design thinking, you know, designer, okay? Designers, we really something that rigid. It's not our style. So it has to be very flexible. For instance, you already know. So within special cases, you know that okay, we can already perform the ideation phase. But then when we do the brainstorming, we find something missing. So when we found something missing, we don't have to back to the define phase, but sometimes we can move backward in the beginning of the process, something like that. So is there any sequence or of importance for the elements presented in diagram? So it's very tricky. Every designers will have a different experience. As for my experience, sometimes I will jump into my ideations, but then when I do my prototyping, something missing, and I have to look back to previous process, and then we or the design team will discover that the missing is not always in the beginning, or it's not always linear. Sometimes only just one particular process or sequence. Okay, Dr. I think that's my answer.
Okay, so thank you. And question number 3, in your opinion, which is important, the design that is based on the end user or the need of the design?
Okay, the base on the end users, because I think it's very tricky questions. It is like you're asking which one is first, the egg or the chicken. So I think it's interchangeably can be the first could be the need of the design. The need of the design because there's a problem. The problem is not always came from the users, but sometimes came from others. Okay, so I think why the users will be very prominent in the design thinking, because they will the one who use the technology. They will operate the technology, or they will operate the products or the services. They will the one be impacted with the outcome itself. I think that's my answer, Dr. Ang.
We have one more question.
Okay.
Here, 2 more questions. Last 2.
Okay.
And can you elaborate more on expecting or interesting facts? And how would these facts affect the user design?
Okay. For instance, unexpected or interesting facts. When the Instagram was firstly introduced, it was for people who want to share their photos, their beautiful pictures. But then it's transformed for media, for what? For selling, you know. And then how the way I marketed my products is through Instagram. Because sometimes people will look for unique products or unique food or unique snacks in Instagram. But nowadays you already have Grab food. In Indonesia, we have Gojek, GoFood, Grab food, something like that. So it's different kind of thing. So unexpected interesting facts is the first. At the beginning, it was for sharing photos and beautiful photos, and then the interesting fact, people are also selling their products in Instagram. So then this one is affect the user design. Now I think as I noticed that Instagram now they have a feature where you can buy some products from official stores. So they will put a sign of shopping bag, so users could buy the product itself. I think that's my question.
Interesting. So that would be the last question.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for your time with us and give us a very insightful and interesting lecture. And so with this, we thank you so much for being with us. So we are gonna to go for another agenda. And thank you everyone for your active participation. And I will pass the baton to Dr. Ho, so the Deputy Director of the CIE of UniMAP for the following agenda. So thank you so much, and goodbye everyone for here. Okay.
Alright, thank you so much, Dr. Ong. It has been a very great day today, and we have listened to Prof. Rizal for his insightful lecture, as well as, of course, Dr. Oin for your very interesting lecture. In fact, I'm so intrigued with the Madura concept, whereby you try to actually relate and connect the people in the rural area, whereby they might not be connected due to the language barrier. And I'm really, really interested to see the comic methods that the COVID-wise program has been using. So I think those will make a very, very good example for our students group to a presentation later. Anyway, I should introduce myself. I am Arthur from CIE, as Dr. Ong has mentioned just now. So next agenda is actually interesting for our students, because for your information as well, meeting 5 and 6 will be fully based on the student presentation. So I hope all the student presenting groups are here. Can we hear from the students? It's been really quiet for the students. I don't even know if they are here. Together with me as well is Pak Wahyu and Pak Desi as well. Yeah, they will assist me in the group assignment as well. Pak Wahyu, Pak Desi, are you here?
Yes, we are here, Prof. Abdul.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Hello.
How's everything in Surabaya?
Yeah, fine and busy here. Yeah, the weather is quite good right now. Some of office we already starting WFO from Saturday, so but with the schedule, so okay,
right,
everything will be fine.
Yeah. So, Pak Desi, everything okay?
Hey, Dr. Arthur.
we are actually ahead of our time, but I think it's okay, so the student can have more time for preparation for meeting 5 and 6 later. Yeah. So yes, for the students, what we are going to do now is to assign you into different groups. So we have 6 more groups coming up for meeting 5 and 6, namely group 7, 8, 9 for meeting 5, and 10, 11, 12 for meeting 6. So if you can see in front of me, I have a different papers, right, with the group numbers in it, which is completely randomized, which I do not know which one is which one. And if you can see from Pak Desi as well, she has colored paper as well with different numbers as well. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to choose one number from UniMAP, another one number from Pak Desi, and the number that we have chosen will be mashed up together into one group. Alright, are we ready, Pak Desi?
Yes.
Alright, so let's go for the first one. I will open the envelope in front of you so that you know that this is authentic and there's no planned thing, right? So everyone will have to agree with it. Right. So yeah, are we ready? Are the students ready? Do we need the drum roll?
Wow.
All right, let's shuffle, but let's see. All right, let's see. Ready? The first one. I also got the first one. So I will open up. Let's open up. Let's see. Right. So the first one is group 12. Oh my, I can't see. Is it group 12? My. Oh, probably I should stop sharing my screen, and I stop my virtual background first. Alright, so now you can see the first one is group 12 from UniMAP and group 9 from ITS. Alright? Everyone agrees? Alright, there's no complaints, so we'll carry on.
Yeah.
Maybe while the group 12 from UniMAP and group 9 from ITS, could you please change in front of your ID Zoom become one,
right.
So it's very easy for us later to break out the room.
Yes.
Okay, please change your ID Zoom right now to plus add 1 in front of your ID Zoom 1 ITS underscore your name or 1 underscore 7, yeah, sorry, change to 7 underscore ITS / or UniMAP underscore your name. So it's easy for us later to do the breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Wahyu. So to repeat that, so you will make sure that you have the number in front of your name. The number will be the first one, number underscore university, and then your name. Yeah. So just now, group 12 from UniMAP and group 9 from ITS will be renamed into group 7. Right? 7, yeah? 7. All right, but let's see. Ready for the second one? Let's shuffle. Right. All right, I got mine. Yes. All right, let's open it up. 1, 2, 3. All right. So 8 and 12. Group 8 from UniMAP and group 12 from ITS will be renamed as group 8. Right? So again, remember to rename your ID, right? Alright. Don't worry if you missed this. Our colleague is actually doing the presentation slide. We will show it again so everyone will know which group will join with which group, yeah? Okay, without further ado, but let's see. Okay, one more. Yeah. Alright, let's open it up. Alright, so we have group 9 from UniMAP and group 8 from ITS. So you guys will be group number 9. Right, group number 9. Right. So yeah, that's all. Not that's all, the half of it. So 3 groups, 7, 8, and 9, matching up with UniMAP and ITS students. These 3 groups will be presenting in meeting number 5. Right? We will break you into smaller groups so we can get to know each other better later. Alright, so remember, please change your name. Oh, okay, I can see some of you have changed already. Very good, very proactive. Good for you. Okay, now we go to group number 10. Ready, but let's see. Ding, 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 ding. But while you are playing the drum, you should like on your mic.
It's okay, ma.
All right. Yes, let's go. But let's see.
Easy.
All right. So we have group 7 from UniMAP and group 11 from ITS. These 2 groups will join up and form group number 10. Yep. Group number 10. Number 10. Right. So change your name. Right. So we have 2. Last one, but let's see. Which one should we use? Should we choose the left one or the right one?
The left one is better.
Left one. So left will join with the left one. My left, okay. My left is your right, I think. I don't know.
Yes, okay.
Okay,
yeah,
the left
yeah,
one.
your left one. Your left
The
one.
left one then. Alright, let's open up the left one. Oh, group 11. All right, so the new group 11 will be group 11 from UniMAP and group 7 from ITS. Okay, last but definitely not least, let's open up. I think everyone knows who is the last group already. Group 10 from UniMAP. And oh, wow, group 10 from UniMAP and group 10 from ITS. Lucky draw.
Lucky draw.
Right, so you guys win. You guys win a clap from me. That's all. Thank you so much. So group 10 from UniMAP and group 10 from ITS, you guys will be the new group 12, yeah? Alright, so can you just give us a moment so we will update your list and the name list and put it into a PowerPoint slides, and we will show it in the screen really soon, yeah? Right. Alright, so the group list it has already been posted in the chat box. If you missed that, don't worry, we will share with you. Right, we will share with you the group list again. On your screen, you'll be able to see. You will be able to see the group list, right? So you have group 7 as these people are Ahmad Armal, Nur Fahada, and Noor Ashikin from UniMAP. And from our partner ITS, we have Haninati Kirana, Irma Noviyanti, and Hans Dimitri. So for group 8 from UniMAP, we have Ravina, Muhammad Ashikul Islam, and Imam Kalan Karanius Anwar Abdullah McAfee. And from ITS, we have Aulia Karis, Ramasari, Zulfami Hawali, and Raikanatun Nafia. I don't know if I pronounce your name correctly. If I don't, just let me know. Right? Alright, thank you, Pak. Right. Next, we have group 9. Group 9 from UniMAP, we have Aidil Hanafi bin Amiruddin. The second one, Ibnul Radi Asman, and No Shafika Azahar. From ITS, we have Nidia Amadia Rosalin, Diva Kuranin Tias, and the last one, definitely not least, Yuda Hendriawan Budi Handoko. Right, for group 10, UniMAP, we have Vanota Verakan, and then we have Santi Shini Sunda and Siti Nur Halima binti Muhammad Ali Jina. From ITS, we have Anggun No Fitriani Handako and Wulan Rahayu Faris Riljan Shah. Wulan, right? Not Mulan, right? Alright, right. Okay, group 11 from UniMAP, we have Nurin Diana Zakaria, Siti Nur Aisha Zulkifli, Muhammad Farishan Zamzuri. From ITS, we have Saara Firdausi, Muhammad Adi Utama, and Rizka Amelia. Last but not least, we have group 12, UniMAP, Ruzaini Muhammad Rohizas, and we have Blessing Chigozirim Patrick, No Sufazatini binti Suzaini. From ITS, we have Vania Federica, Charles Leonardi, and Adilato Latifatun Jannah. Right? Oh my, this is like a tongue twister for me. Right. Alright, so guys, I hope you guys get all the groups listed here. I hope this is all correct, yeah? So yeah, these are the groups that will be presenting in meeting 5 and 6. I wish all of you would have already changed your ID name, which we will actually break you down into smaller groups later after the whole program is ended today, so you can get exchange information, get the context, and get the discussion carry on, right? So after this, I think I would like to share another page on the information sheets, if you allowed. So in front of you, you'll be seeing this. This is actually the information sheets for presenting participants, right? So this one, you could actually download from the Google Drive that we have shared in the WhatsApp group. And this is very important for you to prepare for the meeting 5 and 6 later. So let's move on. All right, let's go to the presentation. Right, presentation guideline. So in meeting 5, we'll be focusing on designing and executing post-COVID-19 adaptation ideas within Varsity campus. So in this presentation, you are required to understand more about the ideas on how do you adapt to the post-19 COVID pandemic area. And you also have to discuss whether or not we should change our lifestyle in order to survive and thrive in the post-COVID-19 era. And you should discuss your discussion within the Varsity campus, whereby the stakeholders you include but not limited to the students like yourself, the academians and non-academic staff, on-campus accommodations, and all the food and beverage providers, canteens, etc. So we have provided you some guidelines for your presentation. You must at least include all this, but we do not limit to what you can put it in as long as you can fit it into a 20 minutes presentation. So you must have a front page using the slide design that we have included in the Doodle Drive as well. In the front page, you must have the title, the name of the student of your team if you would like to come up with some team. I remember some group, they actually named their team Strawberry last meeting. I can't remember. Strawberry team. So yeah. So if you want to put durian also, I don't mind. It's up to you. It's up to you, right? Right. So you want to put your name as COVID 2021. Yeah, it's up to you, right? So let your creativity flows. And of course, introduce your universities and any related info if you would like. And you should actually include the presentation outline as in to let the audience understand what you will be presenting in your session. Afterwards, you can come out with introduction, 1 slide or 2 for the introduction of the background of the titles you want to present. And now we go into the important points. So you must actually discuss the impact of COVID-19 pandemic onto the stakeholders within the Varsity, the members that we have mentioned earlier. And what kind of adaptation have been done by these stakeholders in order to survive and thrive. So any novel ideas that come from your presentation or come from your group, you would suggest it here as well. And after suggesting the novel idea, then there must be some concern or some limitation that would hinders you from applying that particular ideas. And your group should come up with the suggestion on how to you actually overcome the concern. So as Dr. Owen has said just now, this design is actually quite, I think it's a novel idea that makes a design special. So we would really like to hear from you, the students, on how you come up with different ideas and present it here. So after that, you can make some conclusion and some recommendation for further or future improvement. And you can include an acknowledgement at the end of the slide as well. So those would be for meeting 5. And for meeting 6, most of them are the same thing. We still have to focus on the novel ideas on adapting on the post-19 pandemic era. But now they have to discuss the change of lifestyle, focusing those stakeholders that are beyond the Varsity campus. So these stakeholders, they can be from the community around the campus, those underprivileged B40 families, those falling or failing businesses that caters to the students' life beyond Varsity, those entertainment premises, those food and beverage premises, restaurants and whatnot. So now the group 10, 11, 12 will have to focus on the impact of the COVID-19 on this party, but they are out of the Varsity campus. So what should you present then? So the same thing, you should present the front page, the presentation outline, introduction, background, what's not. Now you have to change the impact. The impact is beyond the Varsity, those stakeholders that are beyond the Varsity, and what kind of the adaptation they have done or they will do it in order to survive and thrive. The ideas that come from you that can help them in adopting or adapting this situation, and what are the major concerns that your idea would need to be overcome in order to help them. So after all this, you can draw your conclusions, make your recommendation, finish it up with the acknowledgement. So yeah, that's all. That's it for meeting 5 and 6. I think there are a lot of thinking and discussion to be done among the students, which I think you should start as soon as possible. And the whole idea of this program is to engage with discussion. So we'll leave it to you on how you do discussion. Maybe we can open the floor for any question if anyone would like to know more. Thank you so much. Since there's no questions, so we'll move on. We'll assume that everyone understand what they should do. All right. So
yeah, or maybe they can give question to the WhatsApp group later. It's okay, Pak.
Yeah, that would be great as well. Thank you so much, Pak Wahyu. All right, so that will be good as well. And you can find the Zoom link for meeting 5 and 6 in the information sheet as well. So, but if you have any question, just post the question in the WhatsApp group as well. So I would like to direct your attention to the agenda as well. It will be worth reminding again the students that your presentation will be about 25 minutes, 5 minutes for introduction, another 20 minutes for whatever presentation you would like to have. And we'd like to remind you as well, we will have 6 evaluation panels, 3 from ITS and 3 from UniMAP. They will evaluate you, listen to your presentations, and ask you questions, Q&A session. This time we'll do it one by one, so every single group will be included, and there will be no exclusion for all group. All group will be asked questions, and you will be asked if there's any question from the audience as well, and the reviewer will give you an overall comments for you to improve in the future. So it will be the same thing for meeting 6 as well. It's just that the topic will be different. The evaluation panels might be different as well, but the same flow will be applicable to meeting 5 and 6. So get ready. I hope to see the best presentation from all of you. So if there's no question to be answered here, then you can ask us in the emails, WhatsApp group, and what's not, right? So if there's nothing else from me, so I shall stop sharing my screen and we can move on to the next agenda. So for the next agenda, we will have the study abroad in UniMAP long and short-term mobility presentation by our heads of International Mobility Program, Madam Juliana Johari. So I'm sure that by having a good collaboration between ITS and UniMAP, we would like to really see an actual physical mobility that will happen in near future. We pray hard that the COVID-19 pandemic will rest down a little bit so that we can allow cross borders between Indonesia and Malaysia. So from UniMAP, we really welcome any student from ITS to do your mobility, long or short-term mobility in UniMAP. As in, how do you do it? I will pass it to Madam Juliana Johari. She will explain more. All right, Madam Juliana, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. Sorry. Good afternoon. Oh, sorry. I'm so nervous. Okay, my name is Nur Juliana Johari. Okay, from International Mobility Unit Center for International Engagement, CIE. Okay, so today I will brief explain about student abroad in UniMAP long-term and short-term mobility. Okay, student mobility. For your information, we Center for International Engagement in charge for student mobility and staff mobility also. But for today, I will focus on student mobility. Okay, student mobility program is activity promoted by the Ministry of Higher Education. So in line with the Ministry aspiration to enhance internalization higher education, UniMAP will increase its effort in mobility program, especially for the student and staff too. So through the programs, UniMAP will be able to internationalize its identity and create an enhanced visibility in the global area. Okay. Actually, UniMAP has been aggressively active in participating in the mobility programs for the past 5 years. Okay, for your information, I will explain for mobility definition. Mobility program is involved in the emplacement of exchange of a student outside in the country or in a university or institution within the country. So the program duration, it depends on the course undertaken and at times will involve transfer or study credit hours. So for today, I will give you summarize for mobility criteria. Macam mana? Okay. Saya nak. Okay, so here I stated 5 criteria for our mobility program. So we will have long-term and short-term mobility with credit transfer and credit transfer. So in our credit transfer, we categorize as exchange program, industrial or internship program, research attachment, and summer program. And for non-credit transfer, short-term program of fieldwork and academic or elective clinical attachment. So in mobility category, we categorize to inbound and outbound, either long-term or short-term. So for the long-term with the credit transfer, for the duration is 1 to 2 semester, means that students will go to the host university for the minimum for the 6 months and for the maximum is 1 year. So for the non-credit transfer is a short-term mobility. We follow our Ministry of Education definition. It's minimum of 5 days and maximum of 12 months. It's excluded the date that you going to traveling day and for the traveling day. Okay. So for the justification for us with the credit transfer and non-credit transfer, as stated, inbound or outbound students will participate in the mobility program, which involves credit transfer and must take class or tutorial. And industrial training students will involve in credit transfer mobility session. So for non-credit transfer, for inbound or outbound instead, students will participate in summer camp programs or short-term activities organized by host university or institution, such as activities, for example, that included in non-credit transfer, such as international seminar, international research presentation, cultural exchange, society service program. Last but not least, this is the important thing for budgetary allocation. For with credit transfer, it was for the inbound, home university or institution host will support you. For same with the non-credit transfer. But for outbound, UniMAP student or mobility fund, we will student need to self-funded for air tickets, insurance or daily allowance. Okay. For the next, I will state the important things for the mobility program for inbound and outbound is 4 major for what we call that for the eligibility for inbound and outbound mobility program. So for eligibility inbound mobility program, okay, it's students from in this case it refers to ITS student. So for those for ITS student who want to be our student, so the eligibility is as in the list. Okay, first, full-time student at a university or institution recognized by UniMAP. Second, have completed at least 1 year of full full-time tertiary education. Third, have obtained above average results in his or her university or institution studies to date with an overall CGPA of 3.0. Less than 3.0, it depends on your university. Depends on your criteria that you have. 4. Nominated by his or her university or institution to participate in the Students' Mobility Program. 5. Have satisfied UniMAP entry and student requirements. 6. Have meet Malaysia's visa requirement. This is the important things for the inbound student. Okay, for outbound mobility program, it refers to our UniMAP student. So first enroll at UniMAP as a full-time student. To have completed at least one semester of full-time or tertiary education. 3. Have attained a minimum cumulative average point of 3.0. Have a good disciplinary record. Have a good financial standing and no debt with UniMAP. That is very important to us. Okay, if let's say you have debt with UniMAP, we will not allow you to going out because UniMAP will sponsor you some money to go. So this is you must make sure you know that with UniMAP. Be able to show financial ability to support his or her stay at host university institution. Acquire approval letter from sponsor if applicable. Meet the host country visa requirement. This is very important too because it depends on the country that you are going. Some country they not allow as a visa social visa requirement. They want a mobility or program visa. So we need to make sure we fulfill this requirement. And the important things, if we send you out, you must be a good ambassador for UniMAP. Okay, the second thing is for the cost and expenses. So here I put also inbound for the inbound and outbound mobility program. So for the inbound mobility program, first exchange student will get tuition fee waiver at UniMAP since they are required to pay their tuition fees to their home university or institution. So compulsory to take up health and travel insurance for coverage during the program at UniMAP. So I highlight this item number 2 because if let's say you want to attend the mobility program more than 3 months, you need to apply for the mobility visa in Malaysia. All the institution in Malaysia, if you want to attend for the mobility program, it's compulsory for you to get the visa. So you must make sure either the program that you want to attend is less than 3 months or more than 3 months. So it depends. 3. All expenses on travel arrangements, including visa and passport, shall be borne by the students, not the university. If you have sponsorship, the sponsor will pay for you. But if no, you have to pay by your own. Okay, for students on a visiting student program, payment of fees will be based on the terms and condition of the agreement between UniMAP and its partner university or institution. So for the university, we have MOU or memorandum of understanding or memorandum of agreement. Okay, you have a special treatment. So it depends on what we sign with your university. Okay, so next for outbound mobility program. Okay, for the UniMAP students want to, for example, our UniMAP students want to go to ITS, okay, to join their mobility program. So they must make sure all these things they fulfill and they know about this. First, student undergoing the mobility program will get a tuition fee waiver at the host university or institution since they are required to pay the tuition fees to UniMAP. Second, compulsory to buy travel insurance for coverage during the program at host university. Third, all expenses on travel arrangement, including visa and passport, shall be borne by the students. So it seems like the students who join our inbound program. Last but not least, for students on a visiting student program, payment of fees will be based on the terms and conditions of the agreement between UniMAP and its partner university or institution. Okay, this is the important things that students want to know before they join the program. They will ask how, they will think about the expenses, they will think about the accommodation too. So for those who want to join UniMAP program mobility, okay, for the accommodation, CIE, our office will assist you in obtaining on and off campus accommodation for the students. So once you already make arrangement with us, we will assist you to get the accommodation. But you need to inform for the accommodation. It depends on our agreement too. Some university we will waive the accommodation fees, but some of the students, they have to pay the accommodation fees. It depends on the duration of the staying. Okay, last but not least, for the accommodation, all students are required to comply with UniMAP rules and regulation. Okay, before you end the job, before you end of the program, you also want to know what you can get if you complete mobility program with UniMAP. So for sure, you will for the students who get do a credit transfer, you will get an official transcript from UniMAP upon completion of the mobility program. So for those students who take non-credit program, you will get certificate of an acknowledgement of his or her involvement in UniMAP activities will be given. So on this is my presentation, my brief reading UniMAP mobility program. So let's say you have about UniMAP long-term and mobility, you can email to me at mobility@unimap.edu, and I will share this our webcam information before. Okay, for time being, I think no ITS student come to UniMAP for the mobility program, but our student will go to ITS to join the Comtech program. So for time being, we already sent 3, 4, 5 students to join this program. So I hope for ITS student, you will come to UniMAP to do the mobility program. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Juliana. I'm sure that some of the students, if you have any question, just send us an email. As Madam Juliana says, we really are looking forward to have ITS students to come over here, and we really do expect some of the students to go over ITS as well. So we hope that we can have this collaboration, a long-going one, and we hope that all of the students will get the benefits from the mobility program itself. Right, with that said, we should actually pass the floor to Pak Wahyu from ITS. Is Pak Wahyurini to explain or introduce ITS to us, as in how do we do long and short-term mobility in ITS. Alright, so the floor is yours, Pak Wahyu. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Alright,
Pak Arthur, and thank you so much for the explaining from Madam Juliana about the opportunity to go to the UniMAP. Before I explain my presentation, just let me add something. For ITS students who would like to apply exchange or internship to UniMAP, you must apply through our office. Well, basically, you will need to apply to myself. So you please always pay attention with our social media or our website of ITS Global Engagement. Thank you so much. It's okay. So next, I would like to explain the study abroad ITS Surabaya, Indonesia. So we have a few minutes here. So I'll try to be quick, but try to be punctual. And well, basically, we are in Surabaya, just in case if several of UniMAP students still never go to here. So this is our faculties in 2020. Previously, we have 10 faculties. However, with the new lead of our new rector, Professor Ashari, So in 2020, ITS will transform into 7 faculty. We have Faculty of Vocation, we have Faculty of Science and Data Analytics, or we always call the short one is Scientists. And then we have Faculty of Civil Planning and Geoengineering, CivPlan. We have Faculty of Creative Design and Digital Business, or CREABIS. We have Faculty of Industrial Technology and System Engineering, or INDSYS. And also we have Faculty of Marine Technology, or MARTECH. And then the last one, Faculty of Intelligent Electrical and Informatics Technology, or ELECTICS. So this is several of departments available in ITS. Currently, we have a 15 international undergraduate program, which means the program will be fully in English, even without international students. So here's some the department. So you can go to our website in its.ac.id for the details. So basically, we have so many available for the department. Yeah, but of course, mostly of engineering, technology, and science. Okay, so this is our international program before COVID-19. So we make it classification in 7 types. So for this one is mobility, yeah, staff and academic mobility. So last April we receiving about 6 staff from UniMAP, yeah, to join our staff mobility program, and also we have student mobility as well. The student mobility is internship, lab internship, community-based internship, company-based internship. We also have student exchange, short program. And then for joint research, we have joint research profession, we have joint degree, yeah, with several university, our ITS partner. The student also from overseas can apply international internship. So international internship like team up between ITS and also international student, and they will have internship in like multinational corporation company in Surabaya. And then we have Compact. It is our biannual short program. And then we have study excursion. Yeah, this is for ITS student for the outbound. And the last one, actually we have did from several years ago, extended classroom, or maybe some of you is familiar with COIL. Yeah, collaborative online intensive learning program. So this is a fun type of our international program before COVID-19 that we held mostly face-to-face. So most of the website can go to our, for the information, you can go to our website in the its.ac.id/international. For inbound, you will go to the study at ITS. For outbound, you may go to the tab ITS Goes Global. So it's very easy to find all the information. Yeah, but since this is overall of activity international at ITS. Yes, so for a moment we only have UniMAP students in the Compact, but several years ago we have 4 students from UniMAP. It's about 2016 or 17, yeah, under Professor Mustafa. So they have mobility is about 1 month in our vocational studies program. So this is for faculty. We'll basically provide them from pickup service, buddy program, several engagement program, community engagement from the government, community engagement from ITS, trip, cultural courses, until we helping them to go back to the country. So we everything is settled by our office. And thanks, we have about 50 student volunteers who helping us to running all the activities every year. So this is, we transform our program, the mobility. So I'm trying to be more mobility, the upcoming program. So basically we have 7 types program that you can see. Yeah, you can see in our website that www.its.ac.id/international/e program. For, yeah, we still have time for the UniMAP student. If you're still interested to join e-exchange or e-internship, the deadline is 31 August. Yeah, and the best student will won full scholarship to join Compact 2021. Yeah, so we provide about several slot full scholarship for the student who have best performance during the e-program in 2020 fall semester. So this is our the poster. Like we mentioned, in the poster we only mentioned 3. However, we provide about 7 slots for the full scholarship and several slots also for the partial scholarship. So you can go to our website this is our website to more detail. And of course, the contact program. So I would like to mention that we have 3 contact. So for the contact face-to-face, insight and highlight, and for the contact online, that we are running right now. Actually, I have several devices in front of mine. Because also I'm currently to monitor contact, and the new one is the contact competition. So this is alumni contact from UniMAP. Basically from 2014, we already received students from UniMAP in our contact, and then followed by contact in Set 111, one of faculty staff, Dr. Norsha Isat from UniMAP joined our contact. And then we have one of the alumni in here, in the participant in Team Indias, Miss Enti Chong in group 3, and Miss Nurawada joined our contact last year. And the latest one is Asman, last January. He joined our contact in the sub-course B, the biodiversity ecosystem system. And because of the pandemic, so we need to postpone our contact highlight 2020 into the February. Become contact and set 2021. So 1 till 13 February 2021 with the 3 sub-courses. The sub-course A is about safety maritime. The sub-course B is about exploring Indonesia design and culture. And we still proposing the sub-course C from our former rector, Professor Joni Hermana, is regarding about the pollution, air pollution. But we will inform you next month regarding the new information about contact camp inside 2021. And then currently we running a contact course 2020 online edition. So the sub-course A, we already finished with the 9 participants from Malaysia, Japan, and China. For the sub-course A, about IAT is leading by Dr. Irfan, our deputy director, our senior manager for international partnership. And right now, is happening in other room is Professor Maria is currently running the sub-course B, Zero Waste Store, a way to combat plastic, with the participants 16 participants, students and staff from Philippines, Japan, and Vietnam. And then for the next one, in October, we will have sub-course C, Sustainability Infrastructure in Developing Countries. It will be led by Dr. Warma, the former Dean of Faculty of Civil Plan. And the sub-course D with the Professor Maria again. So if you for further details, you may go to the contact online and our website. And this one, as I mentioned, this is the competition. Maybe you might bring your idea from the 10 ideas and try to modify a bit and join this competition. And the total price is up to USD 1,800 e-certificate, and also you may we will give you free to join contact online in June to August 2021. So you may choose several options that we provided. So of course we also helping that UniMAP student can join this competition as well. Okay, before if you would like to ask further question or further details, you may contact. For the contact, of course, you may contact myself at the contact@its.ac.id. However, for the e-action or internship, you may contact Miss Bilkis Octaviyanti Putri at email@mission.its.ac.id. And to close our my presentation, let me share some video. I hope it's okay. Wait a second. So this is the latest video from our contact course, how we're running the contact online. And for the first edition, it will be the instructor is our senior manager, Pak Irfan. Was also one of our member committee here. So here, only about 3 minutes. I hope it's okay.
Hello everyone. For the past few years, Community and Technological Camp or ComTech has been one of the most anticipated events every year in ITS Surabaya. With a variety of fun activities that gather all people around the world from different countries and backgrounds, it opens opportunities to exchange ideas and develop common goals for the future of communities.
I have died every day. good time. Yeah, but I want you, I need you, and I guarantee I love the sun, 'cause I wanna be.
Yeah, better when I'm dead. We were strangers.
An unwritten song, I'll be the melody. Whoa. So after all my
This year, for the first time in history, we proudly present Comtech Course Online Edition. From home, you still can learn and do collaboration with people around the world and still can learn and experience Indonesian culture through your screen.
Zero to A5, right? So I connected here in A0. So when you're coding, just use A0. Use A5.
Without the without this one. The scoop.
Okay, that's the first movement of the
bukanlah melalui pakaian ataupun titik dan garisan. Baik.
So before I go further, aim is the Indonesian word.
Each place will contain an explanation and fun facts. There will be a quiz on the sidelines of the game, and you have to answer the question based on what have been explained in the... Okay.
Okay, can you...
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully can see you in ITS Surabaya. Thank you so much. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Thank you so much, Pak Wahyu. So nice the video. I'm really impressed, and I can see how many other opportunities that we can actually do it right here as well. So yeah, thank you so much again, Pak Wahyu. Thank you so much for your presentation, a very nice presentation, especially the video itself is sort of summarize everything that has happened in the previous and move on to the online edition. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, after the presentation from Pak Wahyu from ITS, we are now at the end of the program. So now I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Tunku Saha Tunku Ahmad, the Director for Center for International Engagement, CIE, UniMAP, to have a word or two. Yeah, the mic is yours.
Many words.
Many words, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Arthur. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to our distinguished guests from ITS and UniMAP, and also to the rest of our strategic partners who are following this online virtual mobility program, students from ITS and UniMAP who participate in this virtual mobility program, the Teen Ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, okay. So thank you very much for joining our joint virtual mobility program today. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizer, especially from UniMAP and ITS, if I could mention names, Dr. Arthur, Bapak Wahyu, Ibu Desi, Prof Maria, Bapak Irfan, and Madam Juliana, Dr. Ong, if I can say a few more names, Dr. Arthur, Puan Andrina, Dr. Oin, Mr. Kylie, Mr. Jabbar, Mr. Zaidi, and many more actually, Bapak Rector, Bapak Vice Rector, Dr. Engineer Ahmad Rusdiansyah, and also our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Muhammad Rizal, and many more. So thank you again for having this virtual mobility program today. And so I would like to take this opportunity of these closing remarks to briefly highlight the value of this virtual mobility program. So from the perspective of UniMAP, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a massive impact on higher education institutions. So in terms of the intra-regional mobility programs, we have seen restrictions to the conventional or physical student mobility patterns due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The concern is the safety of the students and also the staff who will be involved in the mobility programs. Parents are worried about the safety of the children who will be participating in the mobility programs. So during the early phase of the COVID-19 disease in Malaysia, parents and students seek for advice from the international office of their respective universities whether to cancel or to proceed with the plans. At that time, all the stakeholders in the Malaysian universities did not have sufficient knowledge to predict the future, since there was a lack of clarity about what to do, and it was hard to get consistent, reliable information until the Prime Minister of Malaysia announced the Movement Control Order on 16 March 2020, which has been extended to the current phase that will end, hopefully, that will end by the end of this month, 31st of August 2020. So the fear of this coronavirus has confined people as a means of slowing down the spread of the infection virus. So the practice of social and physical distancing, wearing face masks, sanitizing hands, and checking body's temperature have been the SOPs in the workplace, shopping centers, and markets in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In regard to the higher learning institutions, academics and institutions are now challenged with minimizing the impact on students and staff, and also the university's community. So a variety of online learning approaches, be it synchronous or asynchronous, have been adopted by lecturers to ensure continuity to the teaching and learning process. Similar to what has been done to the teaching and learning process, the student and staff mobility programs must also adopt new approaches and modus operandi to sustain and increase the number of mobility programs and its participants. So it is expected that there will be a downward trend in the next few years for the traditional or conventional mobility program due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So in facing these challenges, UniMAP and its strategic partners, in this case UniMAP and ITS, have taken initiatives to conduct the virtual mobility programs with partner universities from all over the world. And one of these programs is our program today, the Teen Ideas with ITS Surabaya. Through these virtual mobility programs, the ICT is used to obtain the same benefits as one would have the physical mobility, but without the need to travel. Indeed, through the use of ICT, students and staff can experience international exchanges of expertise, ideas, views, and opinion while staying at home, like what we are experiencing today. As mobility and internationalization are becoming increasingly important in today's society, this is a significant evolution for those not able to enjoy any physical exchange in the time of COVID-19. It is believed that the virtual mobility program is the best option that can be done by higher learning institutions during the COVID-19 pandemic in order to sustain and increase the number of exchange and mobility programs with their strategic partners universities across the globe. Last but not least, may I once again express our appreciation to all of you, our partners who have made this virtual mobility program possible. We hope to build on the success on this virtual mobility program and continue this partnership with all of you to organize more attachments in the future, including extending this to a wider range of institutions from all over the world. So on that note, may I once again express our appreciation to all of you, our guests and partners, for supporting this program and for your attendance today, and we look forward to have the students' presentations in the coming weeks in meetings 5 and 6. With that, thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We have here from Associate Professor Dr. Tongku Salha. Thank you so much for her closing remarks. All right, with that concludes the whole program today. We are now at 1:04 p.m. in Malaysia, so we are actually 4 minutes late, but I think it's really good, really good program today. So, all right. So before we end this, should we take a photo now? New normal, new photo taking sessions.
Yeah, and then taking picture first.
All right, everyone, please switch on your camera. If you want to make your hair, it's a good time to do it now. Right, let's do this, everyone. All right.
So a little bit, Prof. 30 seconds to bring back from the breakout room.
I have a lot. Who else? All right, But Desi, are you there? But Desi.
Yeah, we are together here.
All right. Right. Mr. Ong from UniMAP, you have to change into the new background, yeah? No, it's okay.
Sorry, we are the room that cannot.
Right.
We cannot use the background.
It's okay. Okay, who else? I think a lot of you are still not switching on, or we'll start calling names, so better switch on now. From UniMAP we have, all right, many more, right? Adam from ITS, UniMAP Gita.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think everyone here.
Start your video now.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, everyone, start your video now. Okay, are we ready? I think we have like 40% switch on the video. Right. Okay, let's see. There are still people coming in. Okay. All right. Okay, are we ready? All right. Ready? Yeah. So everyone put on a big smile, because I'm not sure which page you are on, but there are 5 pages, so we are going to take one by one. So please make sure that you laugh for like 5 minutes, right? So yeah, please smile for 5 minutes. All right, ready? All right, we'll go with the first page. All right, 5, 4, 3. All right, first page done. We go to the second page. Yes, second page we have Iman, Anggun, Ibnul, Ravina, Gedi, Khalida, Sarah, Noor Amalina, Nadila Ayu. Alright, get ready. Miss Lim also, Famian, Irma from ITS. Alright, ready? Alright, we're going to take photo in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Okay, now we move to page number 3. Page number 3. I think no one is switching on the video. It's okay, I'll just take the photo as well, so we can, Alright, and page number 4. Alright, and last but not least, page number 5. Alright, we have done all 5 pages. Thank you so much, everyone, for switching on the video. We can now divide you into different groups, yeah? What about you? The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So students, you have maximum 15 minutes. Yeah, come back. So I can go back to the contact as well. So you may leave the session. And for the rest, I think you can leave the session ya Pak ya, for the student, the audience, and see you in the next meeting.
See everyone in the next meeting. Alright, bye. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Pak Irfan, thank you so much. Bye bye. Have fun, guys.
Bye.